Man, I've never done a video like this before. This is kind of awkward. I don't even know how to start or what to say. How do I how do I do videos like this? Do I need an intro? What's up, my little gamer boys and girls? Welcome to my channel. I'm going to be talking about an old game called Fallout 3. So I originally planned on doing this video standing up, but I didn't like the way it looked in the camera. So right before filming this video, I ran to Target really quick and bought a cheap old metal $13.99 folding chair because I didn't want to use my giant Gamer Boy Speed Racer chair. But this chair, it's pretty uncomfortable, not gonna lie. See, look at it, it's just a black basic ass folding chair. I don't know if you hear that, but it's metal, I think, or some other substance that isn't soft and comfortable. Let me set the stage for you. It is summer 2022 at the end of June, and things at my job are getting pretty slow. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take a week and a half off. I didn't have anything planned for this vacation. I just really needed to get away from my own mental health. So it's the first day of my vacation. My girlfriend's at work. I'm home all alone, scrolling through my Steam library, looking for a game to play. Figured that now would be a really good chance to knock some games off my big-ass backlog of Steam games I bought and haven't even opened or downloaded. And then I see it. Fallout 3. A beloved game by many that I just have never played. And frankly, the look of the combat was always a big turnoff for me. It just didn't look like fun, or I didn't think I'd like it, honestly. And I knew this game would take me quite a bit of time to complete, and I figured, hey, I got a week and a half. That was as good a time as ever. Now, going into my vacation, the game that I initially had in my mind was The Witcher 3, but I don't know. I just saw Fallout 3 and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna play this game instead. And so, in the year 2022, I finally played Fallout 3. Now, I'm not smart enough or analytic enough to review a video game, and I'm certainly not decisive enough to put a number on it or give it any type of score. I just judge video games on whether or not I had fun playing the game. And guess what? Spoilers! It's a good-ass video game. I had a lot of fun, well, mostly, but I'll get into that later. Also, I'm not going to be caring or dancing on spoilers for this, so if you haven't played this game or just care about spoilers, this video might not be for you, but maybe, I don't know. I haven't recorded this video yet. I don't know what I'm going to be saying for spoilers. I may or may not spoil the whole game. Who knows? So yeah, let's just jump into this. I'm going to try to summarize this game to the best of my abilities, but I did not play this game for the overarching story, and for all I know, this summary is going to be like way the fuck off. This is just the gist of the game that I got from like the small amounts of dialogue that I read. I was not like reading everything. I just don't care enough. I just want to like shoot things and listen to 50s music, but you know, teach their own. So in Fallout 3, it is the year 2277. It is the year 2277, and 200 years ago, there's this big old event that they call the Great War, which was like the final result of a war that was going on between the US of A and China, which was a war to like gain control of the world's last remaining resources, or like something like that. I don't know. It's not a very creative name for a war. It kind of sounds like a shitty anime arc, but like, whatever. Now, this war resulted in nuclear bombs going off, killing billions of people, plaguing the land of radiation, global climate changes, collapse of governments, and yada, yada, yada. You get the point. It is the apocalypse, basically. Big booms, and then people die. I don't know. I'm not a lore guy. That's the gist of it, I think. It doesn't really matter, honestly. Whatever. You are playing as someone that later becomes known as the Lone Wanderer. You grew up inside a vault, which is this closed-off underground community of people trying to live out their lives to survive this apocalypse, most of which will live their entire lives in said vault. It has schooling, people are given jobs to help maintain the vault, and there are people in leadership known as the Overseer and whatever. They have like bodyguards and stuff, scientists, I don't know what. It's an underground community of people living in a vault. What else do you want me to say? And there are many different vaults out there, and the one that you live in is Vault 101. And the story is practically this. Your mother dies giving birth to you, the character, at which point this is where you can like create your own character. And then after you create your character, you live in the vault with your dad, and then there's like flashback memories, or well, not flashback, but like small little tidbits of you growing up in the vault and your experience in that. Oh, I can play with the ball. Fuck yeah. Look at this. Oh my God, I'm not leaving. I'm doing this for 40 hours. And your dad is a scientist who is also freaking Liam Neeson.
You know how tough it is to find a spring that small?
That's right, they got big names in this video game. And oh, speaking of names, the narrator, who you don't hear very often, is freaking Ron Perlman.
The destructive nature of man could sustain itself no longer.
Which I just thought was hilarious because the night before I played this game, I just rewatched Pacific Rim.
Where is my goddamn shoe?
God, that movie fucking rules. God, Pacific Rim's so good. Second one was like, but like, man, that first one, I need a third one pronto. Also, cartoon on Netflix, but it's pretty okay. Pretty okay. Anyways, to get back to Fallout 3, one day, your old pappy Qui-Gon Jinn decides to break out of the vault, out into the wasteland, which you're not supposed to do. No one's allowed to leave the vault, but your dad, he's like, fuck it, I'm doing it anyways, and he just leaves your ass behind. He doesn't even tell you that he's going. He's just gone later. And then you're like, what the fuck, Dad? What are you doing? I need to go too. Are you just leaving me out here? Dad. And so you decide to break out too and chase your old daddy lion Aslan. So basically the story is about you, the lone wanderer, and the adventures that you go on and the experiences that you have out in the wasteland in search of your dad, Ra's al Ghul. And the reason that he broke out of the secrecy camp, man, what other roles did Liam Neeson play? What's his character's name in Taken? I have honestly no idea. And then that brings you to the wasteland. There's this big moment where you walk out of the vault and you look over the horizon and there's just nothing. It's just dirt and sand and rubble and unexciting colors, but it's the wasteland. And let me get one thing straight, you motherfucker, you are not the main character of Fallout 3. No. You are just a small piece of it all. True main character of the video game and the real star of the show is in fact the wasteland itself. More specifically, the Capital Wasteland, which is the name of the wasteland that you spend your time in, which gets its name from being the ruins of Washington, D.C. That's right, the capital of YOL USA. And I mean it, the Capital Wasteland is the main character. The Capital Wasteland is a vast nothingness that feels both empty and full at the same time. The aesthetic and design of the world is just beautiful and amazing and immersive. And like, don't get me wrong, this game has definitely aged, and graphically, it's not like the most beautiful game or anything, but like, I mean, come on. The aesthetic of everything is just so wonderful, and the obliterated towns and the buildings and the rubble everywhere, broken bridges, abandoned and rusted cars, dead trees, poisoned and dirty water, strange and dangerous creatures roaming around out to fucking kill you. What the fuck is this thing? What the fuck are you? Oh my God. What is this? Mirelurk King? Holy shit. I'm sorry, my sire. You got mutants and ghouls and robots, and oh my God, the Pit Boy is just chef's kiss to the Pit Boy. I mean, come on. The Pit Boy is this like wrist device, and then like every time you need to like manage your inventory or like whatever, look at the map, whatever, you bring up your wrist and you use it, and like all your inventory and status menus are on this like futuristic Fitbit wrist device, and like the aesthetic of it has like this CRTV look, and like all the colors and the sound effects it makes, it's just so good. It just like really just adds to everything in this game. This game is very, I think people call it retro futuristic. Like the look of and theme of everything is very 50s and like maybe even 60s, I don't know, but like it's also advanced technology, and so like it's this clash of two things. You have like these old jukeboxes that's playing 50s music. You have old school looking computers with their like old ass looking UIs and old food box and branding. Like you got Blamco mac and cheese and like Sugar Bob cereals, and then the most famous thing in the game is probably like the Nuka-Cola, which is like the Coca-Cola equivalent of this universe. You have to remember, like, the war that took place happened in the year 2077, and so like it should be like advanced technology, but it has this like 50s vibe, and then everything collapsed, and then you are playing 200 years later in 2277, and like it's just so strange and interesting. It's such like a cool, unique idea for a world. It's like what people in the 50s thought the future would look like. That's basically what this game is. And like even all the old houses that you go into and the buildings and like the billboards, it's all like everything just looks like retro and 50s. It's so cool and interesting because you have all of these 50s themes things, but you also have like various different kinds of robots, automated turrets that fucking shoot at you. You have laser guns, powered armor suits. And like, as I mentioned earlier, you have this fucking futuristic Fitbit wrist device that just does so much. It's crazy. Now, with that being said, the themes of the game are pretty dark and bleak, and honestly, it kind of feels like I'm playing a horror game sometimes. There's no mini-map or radar, so sometimes I'll just be like out adventuring the wasteland, and I'll get attacked from behind or shot at. It figuratively scares the shit out of me. Like, seriously, this game can be silly and goofy, sure, but looking at mangled corpses and all the gore and blood and all the fucked up shit that happens with like the people you meet and all the themes going on in the game, and all of this while 50s music is playing, like looking at mangled corpses and fucked up shit while like 50s music is playing is like some other kind of vibe, man. I am telling you. Which 50s music isn't just always playing on default. Your Pip-Boy has a radio on it, and so you have to like select the radio. But the radio, it doesn't play all the time. Sometimes you'll get out of range and then you just don't have that radio station. You have to switch to a different radio station, which is called the Enclave. But it just plays like patriotic music, and it really sucks, and I hated listening to it. I'd probably just listen to the sounds of the wasteland. Personally, actually, what I started doing was just I'd open up Spotify and turn on a Fallout 3 playlist. That was kind of what I would do when I'd run out of range. Anyways, getting off topic, getting back on topic. Oh, and I did realize like 30 hours in the game that like the little compass, like you don't have a mini map, but they're like, there's this little compass and like red lines will appear on the compass telling you that there's enemies nearby. I didn't notice that until like 30 hours in the game. And even after I noticed that, I just never like paid attention to it. So I was still getting scared shitless whenever I got unexpectedly attacked. Anyways, every new area that you explore brings so many uncertainties. You never know what to expect. What enemies might attack you, what NPCs you might run into, what quests you might be given. And on top of that, I would very often get lost in whatever building, underground tunnel, or environment I was in. And it was pretty scary. Seriously, I was like fucking Zora of One Piece. I was just constantly getting lost. It's almost embarrassing. The wasteland is just so full of so many untold stories for you to find and discover, and if you pay attention, you can like really piece together the stories that your environment itself is trying to tell you without using words or dialogue. It's so fucking cool. Like one time I was just out exploring, and then in the corner of my eye I see this weird little town. I'm like, man, I better go check that out. And then turns out there was freaking people living there.
Yes.
Holy shit, that was scary. You're standing in the freaking bathroom. Why are you sweeping? Who cares? It's an apocalypse.
Why, hello there.
And so I talked to them, and they all seemed like super oddly friendly. It was really weird, and they were acting like the wasteland didn't even exist. Like they were just living in a normal town, and everything was just fine, and it was really freaking me out.
I work to feed my family just like every red...
All right, these people are insane.
I'm a little busy right now.
This town is freaking me out. So I kept investigating, and then I talked to an old man.
What's wrong? You don't see anything wrong with a quiet little town full of friendly people in the middle of a blasted wasteland?
Finally. Who said that there's some really fucked up things happening and that I should check the basement and the shed.
What? You don't believe me? Just look in the basements or out in the shed.
And so naturally, I wanted to do that. So like I was fucking Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible, I go to pickpocket the key to the basement, and naturally, I got caught immediately. And so I just decided to kill them, and I took the key, and then I went out in the basement, and sure enough, there are dismembered bodies on the tables, blood everywhere. You got severed limbs in the freezers and the coolers, and like these people are clearly cannibals. And it's like, what the fuck, guys? You're better than this. Didn't really matter though, because I had already killed those 2 people. But I come out of the house immediately to have the neighbors shooting at me, and so I need to defend myself. And so I just killed them, and then I steal the key off their body to get into the shed, and then sure enough, same exact thing. There's fucking bodies hanging from the ceiling and on the floor, and there's blood everywhere, and you got severed limbs on the tables, and whew, it was quite a sight. And then I go back to talk to the old man, who is now taking care of the children of the 2 couples that I just murdered. And then he says that they were family, and he's sad that they're gone, but it had to be done. And then through the dialogue, I think it's suggested that all 4 of them, the 2 couples, are siblings. And so like there was cannibalism, but also some like weird incest going on. And then you got these incest, the children of incest, and I'd left that town and I never went back, tell you what. And that wasn't like a quest or anything. I don't think I got a reward or anything for doing that. It was just something that I found and stumbled into, and I just decided to keep investigating because it was just interesting and engaging. At least I don't think I got a reward. I don't know. I don't really pay attention. And like, yeah, there's just so many random encounters if you just walk out and go exploring. Like another like small, like a super small detail that I saw was like I watched a scavenger shoot at a robot that was wandering the wasteland. And then I just walk up to the robot because I was going to strip it for parts. And the scavenger was like, hey, dude, back the fuck off. This is mine. Go get your own.
Back off. Find your own robot to salvage.
And I was like, whoa, okay, Mr. Scavenger, I'm sorry. And I don't know. I think little interactions like that are just so cool. But like I said earlier, this game does touch on some pretty serious themes as well, such as bigotry, the whole like ghoul versus human theme that is like happening throughout the entire wasteland. There's people that are like fine with ghouls, and then people that are like not okay with ghouls, which by the way, ghouls are basically, they're kind of like zombies. They're people that were affected by radiation, and then you have ghouls that are like, they're like decaying people, but they still have fully functioning brain and their personalities. So they're like people, just like undead people. But then you have feral ghouls, which are practically zombies. They're ghouls, but they don't have any sense or anything. They just wander and attack whoever the fuck they see. They're just, yeah, they're basically zombies. But ghouls, they're fucking cool. You talk to them all the time, and they give you quests and stuff. And they're good people. There's also themes of slavery and slavers throughout the wasteland, which brings me to the next point, this side quest. Oh my fucking god, this side quest. Now, they are called side quests, but I believe these are the main focal point of the video game. Like, the main quests are fine and fun and all, but like the interesting stuff, like the really interesting and fun stuff, happen in the side quests, which I made sure to do all of the mainline side quests. And what I mean by that, there are like side quests that you get that like don't show up under your quest tabs in your Pip-Boy, and the rewards aren't as good, but the major side quests will show up under your quest tab, and so that you can like track them and it'll like give you a location of where to go and stuff like that. I did all of those ones, and they were pretty much, for the most part, all fantastic. In fact, I ended up doing all of these main side quests when I had only done 3 mainline story quests in the game. That's right, I only had 3 done, not including the like tutorial quests. But yeah, I don't know, I just kept doing side quests, because like that's like one of the beautiful things about this game. You can just do whatever you want in whatever order you want, and it's wonderful. Okay, well, there was one side quest I didn't do, at least I think I didn't do. So there's a settlement of slavers that I went to, and they wouldn't let me in unless I like either paid them 500 caps, which is the currency in the game, it's bottle caps. Either pay them 500 caps, or they wanted me to go get slavers, like not slavers, they wanted me to round up slaves and bring them back to the camp for them, which I believe is a side quest. But I didn't want to do that, and I certainly didn't want to pay him 500 caps, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna take out my minigun and slaughter them all. And so I did that. I just walked into the camp with my minigun and killed all of the slavers, every single one of them, and then I just let all the slaves free. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I think it was a pretty good decision. Maybe I missed out on a side quest, maybe it gives a good reward. I don't know, but I felt like it was a good choice. Seriously though, the side quests are so good. Like one of the first ones you ever get is like you are given a decision on whether or not you want to blow up an entire town, which is like your starting town. And you can either blow up the town or you can defuse the bomb and help the town out. And this basically affects the entire rest of the game because you can house in this town. Like you can have your home base there. There are vendors in this town, people you talk to, or if you blow it up, then you end up going somewhere else for the rest of the game. And it's so like interesting, which by the way, I decided to keep the town because I just think the town fit the theme of the game a lot better. Also, there's pretty cool people and vendors in that town. In fact, there's one vendor that gives you this side quest, which is a super long side quest that's really fun, and I recommend everyone doing the side quest. It's pretty good. It's kind of like a tutorial to Wasteland. You're out adventuring the Wasteland, doing different things, and it's kind of teaching you about the world. It's really good. But yeah, there's one side quest that has you rescuing prisoners from an old police station that's being run by mutants, which are like people that were affected by a virus and they turn into like these big beefy thing looking mutant guys. There's one where you have to investigate a group of cannibals because they might have killed people in this small town settlement and things. So you have to like talk to these cannibals and like find a peaceful way to resolve it, or you can just side with the cannibals, or you can kill them all. You know, there's so many decisions to be made. There's this other side quest that's like really good, and this guy basically wants you to find an android for him who is like disappeared or whatever, and this android is actually pretending to be a human, and so you're unraveling this mystery and finding out who this android is and where they are and why they're pretending to be a human.
But it doesn't make any sense. How can this be possible? Ah! My God. I remember it all.
Oh, that was a great reaction. And then after you figure it all out, you have the situation and the decision on if you want to side with the android or turn the android in to get the reward of the guy that's looking for him, or you can do what I did, which was I told the android I was siding with him and that his secret was safe for me, and then he gave me a reward, and then I went to the guy that wants the android, told him about the android, and then he gave me his reward, but as he was walking away, I fucking killed his ass. And so it's a win-win for everybody. I get the reward from the android, and then he gets to live on as a fake human guy. And then I killed the bad guy that wanted to do bad things to the android, but not before getting my reward from him. And there's just so many things like that where you can like manipulate quests and like get everything that you want, kind of. It's wonderful. Oh, and then there's this one, spoilers, but there's this like one crazy side quest where you find this like secret forest out in the wasteland. Like there are dead trees and plants everywhere. There's like no vegetation, but then you find this like fully grown forest, and then you see this mutated tree human thing. Oh, what the fuck? He has a face and arms. What's that, dude?
Glad to see you're finally awake.
Which this cult of people are like worshiping like he's some sort of fucking tree god. But meanwhile, this tree mutant guy is just like, please, for the love of God, just kill me. I can't take this anymore. Just end my suffering. And so you have to decide on if you want to side with the cult or the tree. There's actually multiple different decisions that you can make. And naturally, I was like, oh, you know what? I'll help the tree out. I'm going to kill it. But first, let me take out my giant mini nuke cannon and see if this will kill you first. And naturally, yeah, he killed him. Although the screams of suffering as he dies in a fiery death was quite unsettling, especially since I did it at night. All right, Harold, you want to die? I'll help you. Don't mind if I do. Oh, that's karma. You're welcome. God, so inconsiderate. But seriously, this game rules so fucking much, dude. And full spoilers, I really want to talk about what is like probably my favorite side quest in the whole game, just because of how like angry the quest made me and like made me question the correct like moral decision to make, and I just like couldn't come to a right answer, and it was just so like frustrating, and I spent so much time thinking about this quest and what I wanted to do with it. And I think that's why it's my favorite. I redid this quest so many times to see the different results and then make a decision on which one I like the best, just because that's the way I wanted to do it. So there's this place called Tenpenny Tower, and a bunch of people live here. It's like this old hotel, I think, but it's run by this guy, Mr. Tenpenny. A group of ghouls have been like harassing the people or something, like trying to live there with them because they live down in the sewers and they just don't want to live there anymore. And then Mr. Tenpenny's like, nah, dude, get the fuck out of my tower. And the ghouls are like, oh man, come on, let us live there. Anyways, the people of the tower, they ask you and give you a side quest to go deal with these ghouls and kill them. But me, I'm like, nah, dude, I'm gonna go talk to the ghouls and then see if I can work something out. And so I do that, and then I hear their side of the story, and then I go back to Tenpenny Tower and talk to Mr. Tenpenny and be like, hey man, these ghouls, they just want to live here. You think you do that? And Mr. Tenpenny is like, well, I mean, if you can convince the other residents to let them live here, then, you know, maybe I'll allow it. And so I do that. I go around, I talk to everybody, and there's a bunch of dialogue and speech checks that you have to pass. Anyways, I end up doing it. I convinced the people to let these ghouls live here. I talk to Tenpenny. He's like, all right, dude, yeah, let's do this thing. And I go back to the ghouls, tell them the good news, be like, hey guys, what's up? You can come move in. It's gonna be a wonderful time. And then, you know, I think I go do something else, and then I come back to like talk to the ghouls and like see how everything's going. And like the humans are gone. Like there's a few of them, but like most of them are just gone. And I go up to talk to Mr. Tenpenny, and he's gone too. He's just not there. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And so I went to Google. Turns out the ghouls, after they move in, they slowly kill off all of the humans in the tower. And that infuriated me. I was like, you motherfucker, I trusted you and you betrayed me. All right. I got you into this tower, and then you betray me like this and kill them. The fuck, dude, that's not cool. And so I reloaded an old save, and then, there's this option where you can just storm the tower with an army of feral ghouls and just kill everybody, and then the ghouls take over the tower. I ended up doing that just because I wanted to experience it and see what it was like. And like, it was all right, but like, I'm glad I did it. And then I went back and I did the one where you just end up killing the ghouls. But turns out you actually lose karma for killing the ghouls, which kind of makes sense because at the time, like, they haven't done anything wrong, and like, you don't know that they're going to do something wrong. They're just ghouls that want to live in the tower and not down in the sewers. And so that got me thinking about it a little bit. And I was thinking about this quest a lot and like what the right thing to do is and how I wanted to handle it. And I decided that the character I was playing, who would want to do the right thing, decides to help the ghouls and get them into the tower. That's ultimately what I wanted to do. I peacefully resolved that. I talked to all the people again. I talked to Tenpenny again, and he says, sure, yeah, they can come into the tower. But then, before going to talk to the ghouls, I fucking kill Mr. Tenpenny, because like the ghouls are going to kill him anyways. And so I might as well be the one to kill him, and then I can take his sick-ass suit that he's wearing, and then get the satisfaction of killing him, because he is actually a pretty bad person. He sits up in his tower with a sniper and shoots at passerbyers. He shoots at people and ghouls that are walking around. And he's not a great guy. I mean, he did ultimately decide to let the ghouls in, but who knows what he would have done, or like what his plan was. Maybe he wanted to let the ghouls in and just kill him. I don't know. But like, he's dead, so what does it matter? Anyways, I killed Tenpenny, go back to the ghouls, tell them they can move in, and then I just never went back to the tower. I let the ghouls move in, and then whatever happens after that is not my business. I did my thing. I helped both parties out, the humans and the ghouls, and then whatever happens after that is not my problem. It's their situation. They can resolve it however they want. I'm just a guy that helped the ghouls out for a reward, and then I'm out of here. And I legitimately didn't go back to that tower for the rest of the game. Yeah. Oh, speaking of ghouls, I almost forgot there's this another side quest that revolve around ghouls. I'm sorry, I just really love the side quests. I want to talk about them. Okay, I don't have friends that play video games. Who else am I going to talk about them with? This is my opportunity. So there's other side quests where this ghoul named Mr. Crawford wants you to kill people for him. But it turns out you don't actually have to kill these people. What he really wants is the keys that these people have, which when you have all the keys, it gives you access to this like weapons bunker, and that has like this power armor, and that's what he's really after. He wants to get this like cool power armor and wear it and stuff. Which one of the people you have to talk to get the keys is Mr. Tenpenny. So do not kill Mr. Tenpenny or do that quest before you talk to Crawford and then complete that part of the quest for Mr. Crawford. Just a note. Anyways, I wanted this armor for myself. Obviously, like I was gonna give him the keys and let him have the armor. Pfft, nah, dude, I want it. However, I did read that if you give him the keys, he will leave and go to the bunker and get the armor suit. And I was thinking, that might be kind of fun. And so I gave him the keys, completed the quest, got the reward, and then sure enough, he immediately gets up and walks out. And then I just follow him. And I followed him the entire way. It's basically the entire length of the map, from one corner all the way up to the other corner of the map. And it was super fun and awesome. It was like I got to explore the wasteland and unlock new landmarks on the map while also having a buddy to shoot at enemies with me. Nice work. We were out there like fucking Walker, Texas Ranger, and that other guy that's in the show, I don't remember his name, just killing enemies and like making our way across the map. It was wonderful. And he's pretty fucking strong too. He took down pretty much any enemy in his path. He had a really strong gun, which I did eventually get. Spoiler. Also, this motherfucker was fast. I'd take my eyes off him for 2 seconds because I was shooting at an enemy, and then I'd turn around, he's just gone. I'd see him off in the distance, running away. I was like, hey, come back here. I gotta follow you. But I managed to keep on his tail the entire time. And it was just a really fun experience. I totally recommend anyone experience this. And then as soon as we got there, I shot him in the back of the head and took his keys, and then I got the armor for myself. And it was an experience, and I really, really enjoyed it. Oh my God, speaking of following someone, I just thought of another side quest. Hold up, I gotta explain this one really quick because it was also a really good experience. Last side quest I'm gonna talk about, I'll make it quick. So you find this girl that has this collection of Nuka-Cola items and the beverage and like merchandise and all that jazz. And she wants you to go out and find Nuka-Cola Quantum, which is like the special Nuka-Cola, and there's like only so many out in the world, and she wants you to collect 30 of them and bring them back. And then you leave the building that you talked to her in, and then there's this guy just like walks up to you, and he asks you if you can collect them and give it to him so that he can turn them in because he wants to get into her pants, or, and I quote in his words, plow her bean field. Oh, I laugh so hard at that. That's just a freaking funny line.
How do I put it? I'd love to do the horizontal bop with her, you know, plow her bean field. Come on.
How have I never heard Beanfield before? Oh, it's amazing. Plow her beanfield. That really caught me off guard. Oh my God, this game's amazing. Oh. But since I was playing a female character, I'm given the dialogue option to ask him to collect quantums for me, and then if he does that for me, I will join them and make it a threesome. And then that guy was ecstatic. He took off running immediately to go find this Nuka-Cola Quantum for me, Wait, Ronald, come back. Oh my God, he's so fast. I didn't think that he was gonna leave like immediately to go find Quantum Nuka-Cola. How long can I follow him for? I'm kind of curious to find out, honestly. And then I was like, is he really just gonna run out and get Nuka-Cola Quantum? I should probably follow him. And so sure enough, I go out and I follow him and he's going off on an adventure. Oh, he's fighting. Get him. Yeah, way to go, dude. Ronald, you're the man. Dude, do whatever you can to get in their pants. I believe in you. And then he doesn't even make it halfway, I don't think, and he fucking dies. Ronald! No, he's dead! He's dead! No! The kneecapper? Oh, he had a unique weapon. Oh, Ronald! Hey, dude, if I could sleep with her in your place, I'll try. I'll do my best. I'm so sorry, dude. Oh, no. Oh, that was not the outcome I expected. That's hilarious. And I was like, oh, no, he's dead. Poor guy. And then I reloaded an old save, and then I was going to do it again, except I was going to try my best to keep him alive. And then through my best efforts, I could not do it. And he still ended up dying. The guy never got lucky, but man, did he die trying. The dude might have been horny, but the wasteland is a cruel, cruel place. God, I keep freaking sliding in this metal chair and slouching. God damn. Now let's talk about combat. This is the thing that I thought looked the least interesting. And whenever I watch the videos or like reviews on Fallout 3, the combat never looked fun or interesting to me. And god damn it, was I fucking wrong. Don't misunderstand me. In my opinion, the combat does, well, it sucks. It's not very fun. However, the VAT system completely saves it. I play it on PC with mouse and keyboard, so I can't really speak for how the game feels on a controller, but I don't know, shooting guns and all that just like didn't feel very good and not that enjoyable. The VAT system completely saves the combat for me and like makes it so much more engaging and fun. I don't remember what VAT stands for, but it's basically this like in-game targeting system that slows time down and allows you to pick which target you want to shoot at and where on this target that you want to shoot. And you can choose like the arm or the leg or the head. And it's just like really fun to do that. And also using the VAT system gives you a higher chance at a critical hit, which is pretty amusing. Now it is pretty basic stuff. If you target their legs, they'll like walk slower. If you target their arms, they'll drop their guns, at least in most cases that I saw. Or you can just be like me and target their head 99% of the time because you just like seeing their head blow off. There is like a stamina like bar for VATS. You can't like use it infinitely, but it does refill pretty quick. Also, there is a perk that you can eventually unlock that if you kill an enemy while using VATS, it will instantly refill your VATS so you can shoot at the next enemy. And it's a pretty useful perk. I highly recommend it. It's probably one of the best ones that I used in my opinion. Oh, speaking of perks, there's this perk called Bloody Mess, and it's not a very useful perk. It doesn't benefit you or the character in any sort of way. It doesn't boost any stats, and it's honestly kind of a waste of a perk slot. But it is so goddamn amusing. Basically, it highly increases a chance of dismemberment wherever you shoot at the body. So like you could shoot them in the foot and their entire body will just like explode into pieces, and it never ever got old. Ever. If I ever replay this game, I am getting that perk every single time. Because seeing their body explode and limbs fly in slow motion, just like, it never got old. Ever. Also, there is nothing funnier in this game than walking up to a tiny chunk of the human that you just blew up to smithereens with a single bullet from your pistol that you shot him in the chest with, and looting him for all of his belongings off this tiny little chunk of flesh. You walk up to like this tiny piece of chunk of flesh and you're like, I'll take your guns, I'll take your shirt, I'll take your money and your items. It's just so funny. And speaking of VATS and crippling your enemies, crippled limbs matter to you, the character, as well. If they cripple your head, your vision will be blurry. If they cripple your arm, your aim while using VATS will be super off. If you get shot in the leg, I think it makes you walk slower. I don't remember. But yeah, it's just like small stuff like that. That's like cool and makes the game stand out from other RPGs. Oh, there's also like a whole bunch of like consumables in this game that you can take that'll like buff or decrease certain stats or like give you more health or whatever. I didn't use them all that often because I just never felt the need to. But you can take them and there's a chance that you will get addicted to the thing that you just took, like you're some sort of apocalyptic alcoholic. And I just found that like really interesting. And you'd either have to take more of the thing to feed the withdrawals that you're having, or you have to go see a doctor who can cure you of your addiction. And it's just like a little small thing that is like really interesting. Speaking of substances and things that you can buy, early on in the game, I Googled how to make money, which is, like I said earlier, bottle caps. I Googled how to make more caps because it's my first time playing the game and I just didn't know. And the very first option that came up was this like glitch or like exploit thing where basically if a vendor has two of the same item, you can buy one of those items and then sell it back to them for more than you bought it with, or more than you bought it for. And so you can just do that over and over until the vendor doesn't have any money left. And so anytime I was like tight on caps and I needed more, I would just go to a vendor, do that exploit. I'll like buy a piece of leather armor and then sell it back for like twice as much and just do that over and over until the vendor's completely out of money. And then I just move on with a fresh pocket and the vendor's like, thanks, come again. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. I robbed you of everything you had. See you next time. Did it feel a little dirty doing this? Maybe a little bit, but like I felt no shame. You best believe I'm doing this. Free money to like buy whatever I want and not have to worry about like, do I have enough for more stim packs because I'm getting shot at all the time because I'm really bad at video games. No, dude, I just had caps and I could just buy whatever I wanted whenever I needed it. It was wonderful. And honestly, I don't think I'd play the game any other way. It's in the game and they didn't bother to patch it, so I'm gonna fucking abuse the hell of it. I don't care. Speaking of vendors, one thing that really surprised me in this game were the NPCs. Like I knew there was lots of dialogue choices and lots of conversations that you could have with them, but what I didn't expect is that they like wander around and like do other things than just stand in one place and wait for you to talk to them. Like, don't get me wrong, they're nothing like the NPCs in Red Dead Redemption 2. That game has like some of the best NPCs in the world that I've ever seen, but like for 2008, Fallout 3 did a pretty good job. Like they'll just walk around and wander, and like if I need to like find a vendor to buy something or talk to them about something, and then I go to the spot that I usually see them and they're just not there, and then I have to go walk around and look for them and try to find them so I can talk to them. It's just so like interesting. And then there's also like smaller details with the NPCs that like if you go to Tenpenny Tower at night, you'll find the NPCs sleeping in their beds, and they'll also sometimes be sleeping with other people, and then you can make the connection and see which NPCs are like a couple. Or you could go to Megaton, and if you go there at night, you'll find a lot of the NPCs just like hanging out at the bar. Or if you go to God, what's that place called? Rivet City. If you go there in the mornings, the NPCs will be at freaking Barry's Bailey just having breakfast. Just like hanging out having breakfast, and then you arrive and then they'll like get out off the tables, or not off the tables, but get away from the bar area and then go out to their NPC vendor locations. I don't know. I just had such like a cool detail. I just did not expect this from a 2008 game, and I thought it was awesome. Now, the game wasn't all good for me. There were things that I did not enjoy. Like going inside of vaults. Like, don't get me wrong, the vaults were like interesting, and like the story behind them, and like you like walk in, you can read certain things and like unravel the mystery of like what happened inside the particular vault that you're in. But I just didn't enjoy being inside them. It's like different levels of corridors and rooms, and I was always getting fucking lost. And like, don't get me wrong, there's like a local map that you can look at that like does an okay enough job, but like I'm a dumb shit, I'd still get fucking lost. But the vaults that I did go in did have an interesting story. Like there's one where the overseer just like gassed everyone in the vault and they all like went insane, and when I arrived they were like attacking me, and I just well, I gotta kill y'all in the house. Sorry. I didn't go into too many vaults though. I went to like a couple that I'd stumbled into, and then I went to like the required ones for quest lines. But I did not go into all of them because, I just didn't like being inside them. Similarly, I didn't like being in the fucking sewers either. So you have Washington, D.C., right? But there's rubble and destroyed buildings everywhere, and you can't really like walk around and explore that much. There's a lot of paths that are blocked, and so you have to go into the sewer or the subway area and like get to different areas of D.C. through the sewers. And I just hated it. I didn't like going through the sewers. There's ghouls that you'd constantly get attacked by, which if you do the 10 penny tower quest where you help the ghouls move into the tower, they'll reward you with the ghoul mask that will keep ghouls from attacking you, and it's a super useful item, and I recommend doing that quest just for that, because like there was this one time I went to a building fucking full of ghouls, and I didn't have to fight a single one of them, and it was awesome. Anyways, back to what I was saying as far as things I don't like. The main story, it's like not that interesting. Like you do some interesting things, like there's one point at the end of the game where you meet the president, and that was kind of cool and interesting. There's a part where you go into this like virtual reality world where you're inside like this like 50s town. That was kind of like it wasn't fun, but like it was interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I just think the main quest could have been better. Like the side quests were just so fun and interesting and engaging, and the main quest was just like there so that you can beat the game. I don't know. I just didn't find it that interesting. Also, your dad, Mr. Liam Neeson Taken guy, he sucks. He's an awful dad. He just fucking leaves you in the vault. The fuck, Dad? Come on. The final mission, or one of the final missions, is pretty cool. Spoilers. You fight alongside this giant, iron giant looking ass robot guy. This is fucking cool. Yeah, get him, Iron Giant. This is rad. And so, yeah, you're storming through this town, walking side by side with Vin Diesel, Iron Giant, and shooting things. It's not like... It was pretty fun, actually. I like that part. that was cool. Also, the robot had like dialogue lines, and it was pretty funny. Another thing that I didn't like that might be a little controversial to you Fallout fans is the weight capacity that you can carry. I found it really obnoxiously small and annoying. It might not bother most people, or maybe people like the survival aspect that it brings to the game. You know, you gotta choose wisely. You gotta pick the weapons that you want to use on the next quest, and like the items that you think you'll need, and you gotta make those decisions. But I was like, fuck that. I just want to take all these guns that I collected and just use them, because I like using a variety of guns, and I just wanted to carry more things. And after like 30 hours in the game, I was getting pretty annoyed with it, and I just wanted to carry more weapons. And so I use a console command. I'm playing on PC. I use a console command to raise my weight capacity up a little bit. Now, I didn't raise it like to an obnoxious number, like 10,000 or anything. I just bumped it up a little bit so that I could still carry all of the things that I wanted to carry, and then still have like a headroom for like looting. But like it wasn't like crazy obnoxious or anything. But yeah, I don't know. I don't regret it. It made the game a lot more fun for me. And, people enjoy different things in video games, and carrying weight is one thing that I don't give a shit about. Now, my last topic that I want to touch on, which also kind of ties into the last one, which is the things I didn't like. DLCs. This game has a few of them, and I didn't really like any of them. Now, I did not play all of the DLCs. I played all but one of them, actually. The one I didn't play was Point Lookout. So maybe that was the good one. I don't know. But by the end of the game, I just didn't feel like playing any more DLCs. I played the DLC Operation Anchorage almost immediately, because I read that gives you a ton of loot. And a ton of loot it did give you. The DLC itself, though, is pretty boring. I mean, like it was fine, I guess, but I just didn't find it that engaging. But the loot you get at the end, pretty cool and probably worth it. And then I didn't play anymore for a while, and about like, I don't know, halfway through the game, maybe around 30 hours or something, I decided to play the Pit DLC. And that DLC was, I I don't know, it's the DLC that I remember hearing people talk about the most, so I thought it was going to be like good, but like, I don't know, it was interesting, like the story was interesting, the place that you go to is like kind of interesting, the loot you get's pretty good, and then you get this like ammo machine. I don't remember what the ammo machine is called, but like you put shit in and then it gives you ammo and it's awesome. But like, I don't know, I just didn't have that much fun playing it. I was pretty bored. The story is kind of neat though. You basically decide if you want to side with the slaves or side with the slavers, because the DLC is you're disguising yourself as a slave to get into this place, and then you decide if you want to help the slaves or the slavers. But if you want to help the slaves, you have to kidnap a baby, because this baby is like Ellie from The Last of Us. They're like immune to like radiation or whatever the fuck. So you can either steal the baby from their loving parents to help the slaves, or you can keep the baby with the parents and then help the slavers. And I didn't like that. I didn't like either way. I didn't really like the decision. But I decided to kidnap the baby because, like, you know, like they're not gonna kill the baby. At the end of the day, you know, you're saving all these slaves' lives. That's a little more important than a baby being with their parents. Which honestly, the dad, pretty loving dad. There's some notes you can read, and he's a pretty good dad. But like, shouldn't have been a slaver, dude. There's a literal riot happening, and this guy's like, nope, I want no part of this. I'm gonna keep on working, and whatever happens, happens. But I'm gonna keep on shoveling. Yep. And then I wasn't gonna play any other DLCs because I just didn't really care anymore. But towards the end of the game, like right before doing the final mission, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do Mothership Zeta. And boy, do I wish I did not do that. That DLC was miserably boring. It was so obnoxiously boring. I didn't enjoy a single second of playing that DLC. And I actually saved right before doing the DLC, and I almost went back to that save to get myself out of doing the DLC and then just go back to playing the regular Fallout 3 story. But like, I decided to just see it through and see what happens at the end. I mean, like the laser guns, like the alien guns you get are like kind of cool, but I don't think they're worth playing this boring ass DLC for. I don't know, I was pretty let down by that DLC. I was like, ooh, getting abducted by aliens? That sounds kind of cool. It wasn't. It was boring. And then lastly, I forget that it's a DLC because it doesn't like act like a DLC, but there's a DLC called Broken Steel, which is kind of like the new ending of the game. I guess when Fallout 3 came out, people didn't really like the ending, and so they made this DLC to like continue the game a little bit. But I don't know. Like, no spoilers for Fallout 3, but like after you beat the game, you can't like go back into the game and like complete other things that you were doing or like keep wanting the wasteland. Like once you beat the game, you're done. And then this DLC come along and then you can continue playing the game. But like other than that, I was pretty okay with the end of Fallout 3. I thought the ending was fine. It didn't really bother me. But Broken Steel, it was kind of cool. Again, I didn't love it, but you fight alongside the robot again. But that was pretty cool. But then you don't fight along the robot anymore, and then it's not very cool. And then there's a point at the end, like during the last mission, where you were just getting shot at by there are so many enemies, and they're shooting at you from like every angle, and they're like gods. They are not missing their shots. And I was getting extremely annoyed. So annoyed, in fact, that I forgot that there is an item in the game that lets you turn invisible. So I could have just stealthed that whole mission that was annoying. I could have just done it all stealthily, turn invisible, and walk past them all. Instead, I just got frustrated and shot at, and I had like 50 stim packs going into that DLC, and then I used almost all of them. But I'm just bad at video games too, so like, what are you gonna do? Now, with all of that being said, the things I didn't like in the DLCs, I would take that with a grain of salt, because I suffer from a very severe illness known as open world syndrome. That's right, I know, it's sad. I'm not the only one that suffers, but I tend to suffer greatly from this illness. If you could just put some F's in the chat for me while I grieve for a little bit, because this illness, it hits me really hard sometimes. So basically, open world syndrome for me, no matter how good a game is or how much I am enjoying the game, if it is an open world game or just like a long game in general, I am guaranteed to get sick and tired of this game after like 48 hours or so. And yeah, around like the 45-hour mark, I was ready to be done with Fallout 3. I was over it. It was a super fantastic game, and I was having a ton of fun playing it. But at the same time, after 45 hours, I'm like, yeah, I get the gist of this game. I'm ready to move on. Which I know is kind of a bad sign for me, knowing that I also want to go and play Witcher 3 eventually, which is like a 100-hour game for some people. But I don't know. I still want to experience it. People love it so much. I feel like I should at least play it a little bit. Anyways, towards the end of the game, like around the 45-hour mark, I just didn't care anymore. I stopped exploring everything. I was basically fast traveling everywhere I went because I didn't want to walk through the wasteland because I just didn't care. I stopped taking the time to loot things because I just didn't care about getting loot anymore. I didn't care about talking to NPCs. I was just like doing the things that I felt I needed to do to get myself to the end of the game, completing the last like side quest I needed to do. I did the Mothership Zeta DLC. Oh my god, what a mistake. And then I did the end of the game and then Broken Steel DLC. And I just didn't really do much other than that. And I don't blame the game at all for this. This is just me and my personal taste in video game. Like after that much time in an open world without like the environment changing too much, it just really started to feel like a slog for me. And it happens with every single game I play. Like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, giant open world game. It took me like several different tries of like taking months off and then coming back to it until I finally beat that game. In fact, I started playing that game the week that it came out, and now in June 2022, I beat that game actually very recently. But hey, I did it. I beat it. So yeah, Broken Steel might have been a good DLC. I don't know. It was just hard for me to care because I just wanted to be done with the game. I just want to get through Broken Steel. And then I was never going to touch Fallout 3, at least not for a while anyways. So yeah, that was my Fallout 3 experience. Like I said, I'm not a game reviewer, so I'm not going to give you like a score or anything, but like it's a good game and I had a lot of fun playing it. And that's all that really matters to me. I am not someone that replays games very often, especially long open world games, because like I just don't have that much time. If I have time to play a video game, I'd rather like have a new experience. So I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to Fallout 3, but I definitely see the appeal of wanting to replay Fallout 3 over and over again. But for me, I just don't know if that's on the table. I don't really know how this video is going to turn out. I've never tried anything like this before. I played Fallout 3 without the intention of making content out of it. So I like didn't record like a playthrough or anything. But after I beat the game, I don't like have a lot of friends that play video games. And I just wanted to talk about this game and I just didn't know how to do it. And so I decided to make a style of video like this and see if it turns out. I don't know. It's probably going to take me like 2 weeks to edit. I have no freaking idea. If you watched the video up until this point, thank you so much. And if you like this video, let me know because I might make more style videos like this in the future because honestly, it works with my work schedule pretty well. I can play video games on my own time without having to worry about like making content with it. And then I just like make a summary video like this when I'm done playing the game. And it's like a win-win. I get to play video games on my own time. And then I get to make YouTube content when I have the time to do that because I really love YouTube and making videos. So if this works well, I just need to, perfect this craft. Perfect is a strong word. I'll work on this craft, make it a little better. I mean, I say craft, but like it's not like I'm the first person to talk in front of a camera with a microphone and a somewhat long script in front of me. How the fuck do you end a video? I don't know what to say. What do I say? Thanks so much. Say thank you to this metal black chair that was super uncomfortable that I bought for the purpose of this video today. But who knows? It's probably going to become a staple of the channel. My new black folding chair. Woohoo. My ass hurts though. I've been sitting in it for like an hour recording this fucking video. Actually, it's been almost an hour and a half. God, I hope I can edit this down to a shorter video. Anyways, see you later. Bye. I might be wearing a nice shirt, but don't get it wrong. I'm wearing running shorts on the bottoms. Hear that? That's the sound of freedom.